guys. It's Coach Tarek here from FTI with Dan, who I'll introduce in a moment. Most of you know who the great man is. Looking forward to this particular webinar. I think I've sat in on probably this is the fourth or fifth one on semi-private training, so maybe I'm an expert or not. But in any case, guys, looking forward to this one. So this is tied into how you can 10x your business. I know Dan's done that because I witnessed it many years ago unfold, and he's been helping many others do likewise. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to introduce you to Dan here, and he can run the floor. So Dan, over to you, mate.
Fantastic. Absolute privilege to be able to present this topic, something I'm really passionate about. So thank you, Tarek. Thank you, FDI, for giving me the opportunity. And thank you to everyone that's on here live and those watching on replay as well. I'm always humbled and I'm always extremely grateful. So I'm going to deliver a lot of information in a very short amount of time. I'm really excited because, as Tarek said, this is a topic that I've presented on many, many times. However, you're going to hear some really current innovations and developments that are really exciting right now in this space. And you'll even see that I'm actually not going to even call it semi-private training within the presentation itself. So even the way we label it and what we term it is now changing and evolving as well. So just in the chat, if you can just let me know, what would you like to learn today? Because I've got a slide deck, I've got a presentation, but I want to make sure that I absolutely answer all the questions, the queries that everyone on here has as well. Whilst you're doing that, Rod, everything, always good to see you. Pricing, we'll definitely talk about that, Benny. What else we got? We've got systems as well around it. Fantastic. I'll make sure that I definitely cover that. All right. So as you can see, I've got a slide deck here, and I have changed it. I've changed it. How to 10 times your business with PT on demand. And before I dive into the presentation itself, we've made this change. We've called it PT on demand. We're rolling it out in a number of places right now, and we're getting incredible results. And one of the big reasons that we changed the name was not many people actually knew what semi-private training was. All right. So as an industry, we know what it is. A consumer had no idea what it was. So we've now called it PT on demand. We now have many more inclusions, and we're building products that are a lot more comprehensive. And I'm going to share what that product looks like in 2023. Just a quick reference. One of the guys here, the guy on the far right here, where I'm just hovering my mouse, his name is Justin Grinnell. He owns a great business in the US called State of Fitness. And he's I think he's one of the global leaders in PT on demand. And you'll hear today that I have learned PT on demand from many amazing sources: Alan Cosgrove, Rick Mayo, guys like Justin Grinnell. But I've also been practicing it for a long time. So you're going to hear what I've been practicing, lessons from these guys, but also lessons from my clients. All right, well, let's dive in. Let's rip into it. So I think most of you here know me, but just a really quick background. So I have been a gym owner now for coming up close to 15 years. Would you believe, Tarek? We are both dinosaurs in this great industry of ours. My first studio is the bottom one there on the left. So that was a studio in Coogee, pretty much where I'm based. And that was my very, very first business. I successfully sold that about 3.5 years ago, I believe it was, maybe even 4 years ago now. And it still operates today, which I'm super proud of. That is my current facility. So I still own a facility, but I do not work in it at all. So that's called Momentum 360. So you're not learning a bunch of theory today. You're learning actually what's working right here, right now from a current fitness business owner. But I'm really, really fortunate with that I have a fantastic manager, a great team, and I've actually never really worked in the business itself. But where I spend most of my time is with all these amazing people here that you see in this group shot. Benny, not actually in this photo, but he was in our Melbourne photo, as was Rod. And this is my elite crew. So what I help fitness business owners do now is I help them make more money, because I really do believe that we should be rewarded financially from what we do and the amazing work. And we should be able to build a really incredible lifestyle through wealth. I help them have more freedom. So really important. This is why I'm such a big advocate of PT on demand, because it actually is a great business model for helping you have more freedom and then also more impact. It's also a fantastic model for having more impact in this great industry of ours. So we're fortunate enough to have about 85 to 90 people within that incredible community. It's growing, and that's where I spend a vast majority of my time. But if we rewind, that is, what I'm doing now, but this was me, all right? This caffeine guzzling, tired, disheveled mess that you see was me. And the reason it was me is because I had a business model that wasn't working. I had a great work ethic. I just didn't have any know-how. And so for the first 18 months in this great industry of ours, I was working myself to the bone. I was getting up early. I was staying late. I was working weekends, public holidays. I wasn't taking any holidays at all. I was just doing the most ludicrous days because I was delivering one-on-one training. I was selling sessions and packs of sessions, and I was trading money for time to service one person. If I wanted to make more money, I had to work more. Hence why I got up earlier and stayed later and worked on weekends. And then I was hit a crossroads. After 18 months, I knew that this was no longer feasible. I couldn't stay in this industry doing what I did. It was absolutely killing me. It was killing my relationships and my health. And I knew there had to be a better way. I knew that there was a better way of running a fitness business, but there had to be a better model in place as well. And that's how I uncovered PT On Demand, all right? Because I didn't want to be this guy anymore, all right? Instead, I wanted to operate amazing businesses that did great things. And those changes took time. But I developed this PT On Demand model, and it was a huge shift and change in what we did. And I ended up, increasing our hourly yield within our facility to well over $250 per hour. I ended up building an amazing team of coaches, which was phenomenal, because then I started to build a business, not have a job, which most fitness business owners have, unfortunately. And that's really when the changes took place. So what you're going to be learning from today is not only all the things that I've been able to do successfully in adopting this model, but it came out of a place of pain. It came out because I wasn't doing things well. Yeah, welcome to those that have jumped in. Really excited to deliver today's presentation, and fantastic to have you here. All right, so here's the current problem that I see. I speak to fitness business owners all day, every day. Some of them are my clients, but I also speak to a lot of people that are struggling in this great industry of ours. And the main struggle that I see is that they have a business model that doesn't work. I was just chatting about this with some colleagues today. I'm like, they all want to learn how to do more marketing and generate more leads. But the problem is, if you don't have the right model in place, then what you're doing is you're building a business on sand. And so I see this happen time and time again, is that you're just driving the wrong vehicle, the wrong business vehicle. So here's the problems that I see right now, and I see these all the time. The team training boom is over, all right? F45, Body Fit Training, Orange Theory, they're all amazing businesses in each in their own way, all right? But what that's meant is that team training has become a commodity, all right? And the margins are really, really tight unless you have huge volume. It's very, very difficult to make great money in these businesses unless you have 150 plus members. All right. So team training has had an era, a decade of glory, but it's over. All right. It is saturated. I still love one-to-one coaching. I think there's huge advantages with one-on-one training. However, there's also disadvantages. Like I shared personally, you want to grow your business, then you have to create more hours. All right. And so you're trading the scarcest resource in the world, which is your time, to just service one person. And clients leave. Like, let's just say you're delivering 30 sessions a week and one client's doing 3 sessions out of that. They leave. There goes 10% of your business overnight. All right. And so you're just riding this roller coaster all the time. I actually spoke to a guy yesterday based in the US as well, Keith. And he said, Dan, I wake up at 4:30. I finish at 7:30 p.m. I make $5,500 to $6,000 per month. I do one-on-one PT sessions, 30 minutes, $25 for half an hour. And I said, there's no wonder that this, and he goes, I've never been able to get it beyond that. And I said, it's no wonder. I said, you're driving the absolute wrong vehicle. All right. So if you've got a one-on-one based business right now, unless you make some serious changes, you cannot scale that. A trainer leaves your business and it makes retention of their clients really difficult. So if you have a one-on-one based business and the relationship is with the coach, not with the business itself, then every time the coach leaves, it cripples you. All right. The current business model is really overall flawed. People are selling sessions. All right. You cannot sell sessions. You need to sell solutions that have memberships. All right. I want to say that again. That's a writer downer. You need to sell solutions on membership because cash flow equals king. And when you sell a membership that's based on a solution, you have great cash flow and it's not contingent upon that person turning up. You don't just get paid when they turn up. It's much, much more overarching than that. And right now, consumer demands have evolved. And this is what I'm really excited to share with you today. Because as I said, I believe I have one of the best labs in the world. I have my own gym, so I get to see this every day within my own business. Then I coach 90 other fitness business owners. So I get to see what is going on. And consumer demands have evolved. And this is how they have evolved. Right now, exercise is not enough. If you are only offering an exercise solution, then you will lose clients. All right. They are more mature. Their demands have evolved and they want a nutrition solution. They want a wellness solution. They want a recovery solution. They want coaching. They want accountability. All right. They want more. All right. Second thing in terms of how they've evolved, people will happily pay if it's tailored, if it's personalized, if there's great coaching, if there's accountability, right? They will happily pay. They will pay $100, $150, $200 every single week if you do those things. Now, I said, I'm really privileged. I get to see this happen every single day within my business. And I'll just share a quick example. I have a client. His name's Mitch Phillips. He owns a business called Real Fitness. His average client spends with him $11,500. All right. That's what an average client is worth to him. And he delivers a premium SPT product, all right, or PT on demand product. But it goes well beyond just the exercise itself. So there's 5 big ways or 5 big observations in why I believe the current fitness business model is broken. Which one hits home to you? Just put it in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. Which one hits you between the eyes? What's been most relevant or pertinent for you so far? I'd love to just do a quick check-in. Yeah. Rod, the flawed business model. Yeah. You can't sell sessions. You can't just sell. You can sell time to service one person, but you want to be charging a lot for that, and most people don't. All right, losing trainers with the one-on-one. Yeah, it's really hard, Benny. As good as your systems are, as good as your culture is, as good as your community is, it is really difficult when a one-on-one coach leaves. All right, because the relationship is so deep and intertwined with that coach. Keith, they need more than exercise, 100%. Like I study consumer behavior. And right now we have a mature audience. And I'm going to pronounce your name wrong. So I apologize in advance, but hi, Cynthia. Lovely to meet you. I haven't studied yet, so knowing all of this beforehand is amazing. Yeah, I wish I had this. Would have saved me 18 months of heartache. It really would have. So thanks for joining us today. All right, let's march on. So let's talk about what PT on demand is. All right. It is personal training. Now, the biggest misnomer that people have with personal training is that it's one-on-one. It doesn't have to be one-on-one. All right. People think personal training is one-on-one. No. We can make it, all right, personalized even within a small group context. So what is personalized? They have a personalized program based on their movement screen that you learn here at FTI, the MRC movement screen, okay? So they have a personal program based on that. They have personalized progression based on their ability, based on their journey. They have personalized cues based on their preferred learning styles, all right, and what they need. They have personalized support, both inside and outside of the session, and they have personalized coaching. That is what PT on demand is. All right. I knew for a long time that the one-on-one model was flawed, but I couldn't put my finger on it. I'd be delivering 8-9 hours of one-on-one training every single day without fail. But within that, I was talking about the person's weekend. I was talking about, the latest show on Netflix and whatever else. There was wasted time. There was fluff. With PT on demand, there's no fluff. All right. You got 4 people on the go. Each one has a nuance, a difference in what they're doing and how they're doing it. And you've got to deliver for that. All right. So that is what PT.
I'm busy.
Let's talk about the benefits, and the benefits are numerous. Number one, way better margins. And we're going to break down the numbers. We're going to dive deep into the numbers soon. But one of the big problems I had in a PT business in particular was my margins were too tight, because there's really only there's 4 ways to scale a business, all right, or to create leverage in a business. Really only about 2 of them I think are super pertinent to the fitness industry and fitness businesses. Number 1 is the business model. Number 2 is people. Ideally, you want to do both. If you want a really big business, you have to do both. All right. Now, the challenge with, say, a one-on-one business model is your margins. I think there's someone just coming through, Tarek. If you wouldn't mind just throwing them on mute, that would be amazing. And if I'm charging out, let's just use some round numbers. If I'm charging out at $80 for a PT session for an hour, all right? In most cases, when you include the workers' compensation, the superannuation, and all the loadings, I'm going to have to pay that coach a minimum of $40. All right. Now, out of that $80, I've got to pay my GST, and then I've got to pay my rent, all my subscriptions, all my utilities, and everything else. It leaves me with about this much money, if any at all, by the time I pay for my marketing, my ads, and everything else. So it's very, very tight, and it's very difficult to grow a super profitable business with such tight margins. It can be done, but you've got to do huge volume. So I coach a guy right now. He does over $1 million in his PT business, but he delivers over 300 per week. All right. So way better margins, which just make everything easier. It means I can spend more on marketing. It means I can pay my coaches more. It means I can actually make some serious profit for my business. And all 3 of those things are great. I'm sure you'd agree. All right, next one. Can transform more lives. All right, that's why we're in this game. We all came into this industry because we want to have an amazing impact. We want to help and serve more people. We want to transform them. All right, I don't want to just make them sweat. I actually want to have a deep impact with them. And the biggest challenge I found was when I was doing one-on-one in particular, I could maybe see 10 people a day, maybe a busy day, 12, 13, PT on demand. And we'll talk about ratios in a minute. I can transform 50, 80, 100 in a day. So I can transform more lives. I can capitalize on the busy periods. All right. There's always busy periods within any environment, within any city. It's generally before work. It's generally after work. And I want to make sure that in those busy periods, I'm getting the greatest yield for my business, right? That I'm serving as many people as I can, and I'm making as much money as I can in those busy periods. It's amazing. It's not amazing, almost doesn't cut it. It's just Nothing is better for culture and connection. These people are training with other like-minded people. They're connecting, they're spotting, they're high-fiving, they're congratulating. And that produces a phenomenal community, a great culture, an outstanding connection. All right. And that helps people stay for a long time. People want accountability. I see it in coaching all the time. You can Google, you can go onto YouTube, fitness business tips and whatever else, but it doesn't get the same impact as coaching with someone like me. Why? Because I keep them accountable. I hold their feet to the fire. We do a lot of, behavior change, and it's personalized and it's customized to where they are on their journey and how they absorb and learn information. The same within this context. People need it, people want it, and they will pay for it. And that's what we offer with PT On Demand. We offer high-level accountability and a high level of personalization and tailored coaching, both exercise coaching as well as behavior coaching, habit-based coaching. I believe you get the perfect marriage, all right? You get the very best from a one-on-one, which is a personalized session. You get lots of contact with the trainer. You get amazing, monitoring and progression, but then you get the very best from a group session. So you get the best of both worlds. Both are amazing, yet PT On Demand links them both because you get that relatedness and you get that connection that we're talking about. So out of the benefits, what excites you most? Just put it in the chat. Which one of those 6 benefits excites you most, all right, about PT On Demand?
And sorry, Dan, I'll just chime in. For those who just came on board, did you want to explain the name sort of variation and the logic behind it?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Thank you for that. So those that have jumped in, welcome. Great to have you here. So for a long time, for the last, 15 years, I've called this semi-private training, and I still will use it. You'll see that I'll slip up several times. But now we're actually reframing it and repositioning it to PT On Demand. And the biggest reason is the consumer understands it a lot. And they're like, what, personal training on demand? That's appealing. I want personal training because I want it customized. I want it personalized. I want that accountability. All right. B, I want it on demand because I need flexibility. All right. Where if it's one-on-one, you're just trying to fit it within a schedule. All right. But generally we'd have a schedule. We may have 10, we may have 15, we may have 20 session slots that they can book into. And so now they've got personal training on demand. It's much more appealing. It's much easier for the consumer to understand. All right, Ruth, I will definitely cover that. How many usually in the group? And that's what we're going to go through in the nuts and bolts. Everyone looks like they've got, those benefits appeal to them, which is outstanding. So you're in the right place. All right, so let's talk about the nuts and bolts because I get lots of questions on the nuts and bolts. All right, and I want to make sure I cover all of them for you. All right. All right, session numbers to answer your question, Ruth. All right, so I started PT On Demand with 3 people. And it was a challenge for me. I'd been a coach at that point, I don't know, probably for about 8 years, maybe not quite that long, maybe 6, 7 years. So I was a pretty good coach. And I found it really challenging because now I had to manage multiple people, but still not dilute the product or the quality. So I still needed to ensure everyone was doing the right exercises the right way. And they were often doing different exercises. So I started with 3. Once I felt comfortable and confident with that, I moved it to 4. I moved it to 5. All right. 5 was about the number. I did do it with 6 as well. But the client that I referred to before, Mitch, he does it with 10. All right. So he does it up to 10. He's probably the biggest that I've seen. So it's going to be somewhere between that 3 to 10 mark. What I recommend is you start smaller. And then as you get more confident, as you become more proficient in delivering the programs and executing the actual sessions and the product and the service itself, then you increase that. All right. So the magic number is somewhere between 3 and 10. I actually think it's closer to 3 than 10, though. Okay. I really think, I liked 4 for a long period of time, and that's what most of my guys launch with. Time frame, generally anywhere between 45 to 60 minutes. All right. So 45 minutes absolutely works like a treat. A lot of our clients do this. Generally, not many are more than 60 minutes unless they're powerlifting centric. Some of them will go into like 90 minutes. All right. So it will depend a little bit on the philosophy of training that you deliver. But that 45-minute mark is what we deliver and what we love. Rod, to answer your question, would you start with smaller numbers but more sessions? Yeah, I would. I absolutely would. This is key. The product and the service is not limited to the time that they're actually in the gym itself. So we've got to extend the product and the service to outside of the session itself. All right. We may only see them for 2-3 sessions a week. All right. That might be 2.5 hours, but we have to have habit-based changes that impact all the other dimensions of health outside of the session itself. How does that happen? It can happen a number of different ways. All right. So it can happen a number of different ways. It can be them actually doing a non-sweat coaching session. So, actually doing it via Zoom, potentially one-on-one or in a group. It can have them fill out like a jot form every single week. It can be like a live course that I know one of my other clients does, where they actually take them through like a different pillar of health every week. But there's many different, you can have a trainerized checklist. You can have a Wodify checklist that you can deliver. But you want to have the product deliver much more than exercise itself. Now, Tarek's asked a great question. Would the cost change depending on the variable number? Generally not. That's the surprising thing. So Mitch, who has up to 10 people, his minimum membership, I think, is maybe like $110 a week or something along those lines. So he's selling at the same price that someone of 3 or 4 would. And so what does that mean? A lot better margins. If you do have an existing physical space business already, what I recommend is that you have a dedicated space for it. So Benny, I know you do a ton of one-on-one right now. I'd create a PT on demand zone. All right. So it looks different. It's got its own equipment. It might have specialized movement. So generally what we would do is anything that's complex, anything that's corrective exercise movement based, we would put that in our PT and demand sessions. In team-based training sessions, they're not doing power cleans. They're not doing a snatch. They're not doing, an ISO integrated split squat, for example. All right. They're not doing any of the specialty movements. All right. That's what PT on demand is for. So it's got its own space, its own equipment, its own movements, its own coaching. It's got its own culture. It's very distinct. One of the big challenges a lot of people have is they're like, Dan, I deliver team training right now. And I'm like, yeah. So team training is all about the experience in terms of high energy, louder music, high five, slaps, yelling, yelling from the instructor. You walk in there and you just feel alive at the end of it. PT on demand, it's much more, I'm down on one knee coaching. I'm palpating. I'm making sure that I'm making like little corrections to the progression, the regression of the movements. I'm talking more than just about exercise itself. All right. So it goes well beyond just making someone sweat. So Rod, outdoor trainers, the biggest difference I'd make for an outdoor trainer is number one, the group, the size of the group. Number two, the programs that they undertake. Number three, the equipment that they use. All right. And number four, all the elements that support the session itself. So therefore it looks clearly different. You got to utilize technology. Technology is our friend. I've been doing an immense amount of research in the last week, in particular on artificial intelligence and its impact on the industry. And, one of the really great benefits of our industry over the last few years has been developments in technology, and you want to utilize it. You can't shy away from it. This is the world that we're in. And so that technology for non-sweat coaching sessions might be Zoom. That technology might be something like a Trainerize that they can record all their programs within, that they have programs that they can do outside of the PT on demand sessions, that they can access all their nutrition through Exceed Nutrition, where they can maybe, complete habit-based checklists. All right. So you want to utilize technology to enhance the product or service. It's there to complement. It's not there to replace. All right. It's very much there to supplement what we do.
Yeah, I think I may add the point there, Dan. You put up a great post around AI augmenting, the trainer's journey, and I think that's important for the trainer or the coach to get lazy. And I think depend on technology completely. So I think it's an interesting space, because we could definitely run a webinar that would talk more about that, not just for semi-private, but for implications across the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. We're actually covering it a little bit tomorrow in our elite crew, because there's no doubt the developments in technology are phenomenal, and they are going to make our jobs easier, and they are going to get better results for our clients. But there is no substitute for human connection, human touch, human creativity, and human thinking. And so a lot of the world is falling over backwards with AI, and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too much, but the heart of what we do is us. It's the personal connection. And that's why I love this product so much. That's why I love PT on Demand so much, because it is built around the connection that you have with your clients and the community and the culture and the coaching. And no technology can do the coaching, but rather what it is, it's the vehicle to add more accountability, more support, more resources, so the changes extend beyond the session itself. The other thing in terms of the nuts and bolts is world-class coaching. And that's why, everyone here is within the FTI tribe in one way or another. No doubt you're in my assumption is you're a phenomenal coach, and you have to be. You have to be to deliver this product and service. What I've found is this, and these are some generalizations, but the best people in the world at delivering this product are actually personal trainers, not group trainers, because of just, they're used to that attention to detail. They're used to this level of depth within the coaching itself. And if you're brand new into the industry, I would cut my teeth by doing some one-on-one personal training before you add the PT on Demand, because this is demanding from you as a coach. Let's have a look at the numbers. I'm a numbers guy, all right? And I don't want to shy away from numbers. Numbers are objective. Numbers paint a picture. So let's have a look at the numbers and why this works so well. Let's just say a one-on-one session, we charge it out at $90 per session, all right? Thereabouts, okay? Now, PT on Demand, I'm surprised I haven't been asked it yet, but it ranges anywhere, and we don't sell per sessions, by the way, but just for this example, I'm just making it per sessions. We sell memberships that deliver results, and they get access to sessions. So what I mean by that is, i.e., it's $150 per week. That gets you access to 3 sessions, all right? So PT on Demand is anywhere from $35 to $80. The numbers per session are 3 to 10. We covered that. So even if we go in the middle, smack bang in the middle here, all right? We go 5 people at $50. That means for a 45-minute session, I'm going to make $250 per unit of time. All right? Just put a little Y if you'd like to make $250 per 45 minutes. Put a little Y in the chat if that's you. Rod, I'm glad it's you. Keith, awesome. Lewis, great to see you on, Lewis. Fantastic. Staff may cost up to $50 per session. So now I've got a margin of $200 per unit of time. That just allows me to do so much more within the business itself. That's Ruth as well. Awesome. All right. So the numbers don't lie. They really do paint the picture. So I just wanted to throw it over to you guys. What questions do you have so far before I go through a checklist of what you need to do to make it successful? So, Tarek, you've got the first question. Yep, you want to read it out, mate?
Yeah, just curious around we've talked about this lots around the level of experience and expertise to run PT on demand.
Yes. Yeah, so the reality is you're balancing multiple. You got one of the big questions that I get. I'll just take a back step, and I'll definitely answer the question itself. So one of the things with PT on demand is it is personalized. It is tailored. All right. And so that means that you're going to be getting people in at different levels of ability with different outcomes and needs. So a lot of people will go, Dan, don't you try group them together? No, because it's personalized and tailored. So you can do that. However, what that means is I might have somebody in the session that is, they're an athlete, they're strong, they're coordinated. And then I've got someone who's a little bit older and more sedentary. And so I've got to have a program that delivers a result for both of them. I've got to be able to coach both of them through this program concurrently. So the demands on you are therefore harder than what if it was just one person, because now we might be talking 4 different people. So that's why I said before, you've got to be confident, and you've got to be competent, and you've got to be experienced with your programming, with your coaching, with your regressions, with your progressions. And what I found, is that the best coaches in this were people that had gone through the FTI programs, that had done MFT, that had done MRC, because that's exactly what we talk about. That's what we teach. And I say we, I know I'm no longer involved in the organization, but I'm still talking about it collectively. That's what we teach in these programs. And so you want to have experience, you want to have some certifications, you want to have these core competencies down pat. All right, let's talk about what we need to make it successful. And please think about questions. All right, I want to make sure that you walk away going, all right, I understand more about this product. I'm confident about, moving forward with it. So what do you need? Number one, you need a strategy. All right, this is where a lot of people don't have. And when I talk about strategy, it really encompasses a few things. Number one is, what's my pricing going to be? What's my package going to be? And one of the things that we teach in our programs is called a signature system. So we sell an outcome based on the signature system. All right. How we deliver that signature system is through PT on demand. And you need to have this. So you need a strategy in terms of positioning the product, the pricing of the product, and packaging of the product. You need a CRM. If you don't know what a CRM is, it's called a customer relationship management system, because we want people booking in through it. Right? They're not booking in through you. They're booking through a booking software, and you need a direct debit because people are on memberships and we've got that reoccurring cash flow. You need a really good programming structure. All right. So what we used to use and what we still use is we use a template that follows the same. And obviously we customize and personalize it to the individual and their goals. Right. And so you need a programming structure. Right. And I'm happy to share that programming structure. You need a check-in, non-sweat, habit-based behavior change coaching system. You need an assessment protocol. You need a marketing plan. Once you actually, you've got this amazing product, we need to drive people to this product. And we need a conversion system, a sales process that takes them from lead prospect and turns them into a paying member. All right. So there's a lot of things that you need. All right. But you can build a wildly successful and profitable business with PT on demand. The numbers that I'm seeing, not only within my own business, but within my client's business, are eye-watering. They are phenomenal. They're exciting. All right. And so, yes, you need to put this in place, but once you do so, you have a phenomenal business. All right. You really, really do. So I think there's a couple of questions, and then I'm going to talk about a course that we've put together that actually includes everything here to help you actually implement everything that I've talked about no guesswork whatsoever, but actually has each and every one of these elements. So Candy, you're up first, which is great. What is the affordability without going under your value, but not overpriced? That's a fantastic question. Thank you. You never want to position a product on price alone. It should be a value-based proposition. And that's why we help people build what we call a signature system, which is essentially just an outcome that we deliver from our program itself. Because people will invest a lot more if you can solve their deepest, darkest problem. If you can remove the thing that's causing them pain, discomfort, whether that's, pain in terms of like back pain, or whether that's actually the way that they look and feel about themselves, then they will invest a lot more money as a result. All right. So we will generally go on the higher end on this. We really will, because we position the product and we build the product so it gets amazing results and it solves big problems. One of the things that I learned really early on in my business career is the most successful business people are generally the ones that are solving the biggest problems and most often. All right. And that's what we do with this PT on demand. All right. So that's a fantastic question. Thank you. Is there any other questions on anything that I may have covered thus far? Because I just want to make sure that I absolutely cover it for you. Now, you look at that list on the left, you look at the strategy, you look at the CRM and DD and programming structure, check-in, non-sweat coaching system, assessment protocol, marketing plan, and sales system. And it may look a little overwhelming. And that's why we've created a course for you, right? Because we don't want you to have to recreate this from scratch. We've actually got all the templates. We've got every single element already built out for you, right? And Tarek's seen this in practice for well over a decade.